Tonight on News 22, Shelby Cap investigates why NMSU students are seen more confident in reporting sexual assault. A sports book is coming to a casino in northern New Mexico, and early voting in Doña Ana County has already seen a major spike. All that and more on News 22 Thursday.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Stephanie Mendez.
And I'm Shelby Cap. New Mexico is pushing ahead in its attempt to be a leader in commercial space flight.
The International Symposium for Personal and Commercial Space Flight is wrapping up the 13th annual conference here in Las Cruces. Many organizations, including SpaceX, NASA, and Spaceport America, were there. The audience got to hear about the commercial space industry. CEO of Spaceport America, Daniel Hicks, says the conference is an important networking opportunity.
So my near-term goal is to work with those companies and to bring them to New Mexico, to Spaceport America, where they can successfully demonstrate their capabilities and their services for the space industry.
Hicks says that Spaceport has signed 11 non-disclosure agreements with companies for research and development in low Earth orbit technology.
We've also achieved another historic victory for Iowa farmers and ranchers by replacing the job-killing NAFTA with an incredible brand new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, the USMCA.
New Mexico Lieutenant Governor John Sanchez says the revised NAFTA agreement is good for the state. He says it will strengthen the economy. The Federal Reserve Bank reported New Mexico has had the most job gain wage since President Trump took office. Jerry Pacheco, the executive director of the International Business Accelerator, says it's good NAFTA was updated, but he's worried that the changes in the automobile industry, and he's not happy with the way President Trump treated allies like Mexico and Canada.
A sports book is coming to the Santa Ana Star Center in Rio Rancho, but you won't be able to bet on New Mexico's two favorite teams. The University of New Mexico and New Mexico State University won't be available. The sports book will operate Monday through Friday, noon to 8 p.m., and on weekends, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. There is no word on when the sports book will open. Santa Ana will be operating New Mexico's first legal sports book. It's been pretty chilly in the morning and the evenings lately.
But towards the afternoon, it seems like we have to take our sweaters off.
Yeah, I know. It's like sweater on, sweater off.
Yeah.
And Andres is next with a look at local weather. Andres?
Yeah, you're kind of right. You know, it's been one of those type of mornings where you wake up with a sweater and you throw it off by midday. And look, speaking of which, we're still at 74 degrees, so you wouldn't want that sweater right now. And our humidity is at 30%, dew point 39 degrees, and the barometer sits at 29.98 inches. We did reach a high of 78 degrees today, which is 2 degrees below our average for this time of year. And back in the year 1996, we hit a record high of 92 degrees, and in the year 1973, we hit a record low of 34. We haven't seen any rainfall so far today, but that might change. We have two storm systems moving in this weekend. I'll explain it all coming up.
And a drug treatment program in Santa Fe is showing some positive results. The city of Santa Fe implemented a drug treatment program that refers nonviolent drug users into counseling programs instead of arrest. Santa Fe was the second city in the U.S. to use this program. The city reported chances of those who were in the program being arrested for another drug offense decreased. The city will continue to use the program in the upcoming future. And about 2.5 million Americans are now addicted to opioids, and people dying of opioid overdose continues to rise.
Michaela Romero takes a look at the problem and how it affects the users' families.
Matt Goddard was close to his older brother. He looked up to him as a second dad. All he has is the good memories.
His smile just totally lit up the room. He's a great guy.
He lost his older brother, Tony, to opioids. It is a big problem today. Addiction is hard to overcome. There's a 90% chance of relapsing even after rehab. Doctors at Memorial Hospital are very familiar with the epidemic, and they're looking at ways to solve the problem that they may have started.
We as prescribers, as physicians and other healthcare providers who prescribe, we have definitely created the problem ourselves. Actually, 1 in 3 people who have an opiate use disorder, which is kind of that maladaptive or addictive use of opiates, actually got their first prescription from a provider.
That may have been the start of Tony's addiction after his wisdom teeth were pulled.
He could go to the doctors and get a certain, let's say, Oxycontin, and he could be taking it, and they don't know it, but they're getting hooked on it.
Now Matt hopes he can make something good out of Tony's death.
Maybe if I have a friend that is going through something in life, I can help him.
Matt's roommate, Sergio Morales, has a brother who's struggling with addiction. He hopes that his brother can get help before it is too late.
You know, it affects my family because, you know, it detaches us as a family. You know, my dad has been trying to help my brother for so long, but you know, it's something that there's so much you can do that sometimes you can't do. And
drug addictions not only affect the users, they affect families and communities.
So that really affected our family in a very bad way.
Dr. Winan says there are medical ways to help treat people struggling with this problem.
There's a lot of medical treatments that you can use for opiate disorder. There's 3 that are really well known. I think we should talk about this so that people know that there's treatment, and if you're not on treatment and you want to get on treatment, that's something we can help you with.
Dr. Winan says this is the year of the opioid, which means they are focusing on the issue as one of their top priorities here at Memorial Hospital. Michaela Romero, News 22.
There's new video in the officer-involved shooting that killed one Las Cruces man. New video shows officers pursuing and serving commands to 32-year-old Angel Pinedo. Pinedo had refused commands to drop his weapon. He had been running near Las Cruces High School when he was killed. The video was edited to right before Pinedo reached back for his weapon. After that, all 4 officers opened fire. The incident remains under investigation by Las Cruces police.
Las Cruces voters seem to be engaged in the upcoming election. The Doña Ana County Clerk reports there were 7 times the voters on the first day of early voting than in 2014 midterm elections. There were 762 votes cast on Tuesday compared to the 97 votes cast on the first day last year. Early voting will be available at the county clerk's office Monday through Friday during normal business hours. More early voting locations will open up on October 20th. For a list of early voting locations, visit the Doña Ana County Clerk's Office website.
In just the past couple of weeks, there have been 3 reports of sexual assault here on the NMSU campus.
I look into whether there are more sexual assaults happening or whether more people are reporting.
The Me Too movement, the fall of famous men, the controversial Supreme Court hearings, what effect are they having? The NMSU Vice President for Student Success believes all these things have made it more acceptable to report sexual assault.
Folks that may not have come forward before with reporting oftentimes feel a little bit more assurance to come forward. So I think some of this increase in reporting is based on some of the training we've been doing and the heightened awareness that we've been creating here on campus.
NMSU Chancellor Dan Arvizu recently sent a letter to the NMSU community saying everyone is responsible for making sure the campus is safe and the university will not tolerate sexual assault. Valerie Jarrett, former senior advisor for President Barack Obama, says the increased reporting is encouraging.
Jarrett recently visited NMSU for Violence Against Women's Month. She said that 1 in 5 college students are sexually assaulted, and she said that every case should be reported.
You shouldn't have to worry about being assaulted when you're here to learn. And so I encourage the young women on this campus to get involved, create an organization if there isn't one that you think that you want to join, and recognize that your voice is important, your voice matters, and your voice can actually lead to sustainable change.
And she says that she hopes the Kavanaugh hearings will encourage more reporting.
The efforts from Me Too to Time's Up to the championing the way our country has around Dr. Ford, it was a brave act, and I think we need more women to feel comfortable coming forward, knowing that they are safe in doing so.
Jarrett was promoting an organization called United State of Women, a nonprofit group working to empower women.
And Valerie Jarrett will be in Albuquerque on December 1st for a major conference by the United States of Women. And stay tuned, Andres will be back with your national forecast.
But first, myths or facts? Today's Health Minute answers questions about breast cancer. More on that when News 22 continues.
I want young adults to know that the world is a much bigger place than just the spot that they are occupying at this time. And PBS presents that in a very positive manner. I have left my PBS station a gift in my will. I want to be certain the programs presented by PBS are carried forward to future generations.
Registering to vote in New Mexico is easy. Forms are available at Department of Motor Vehicles offices and your county clerk's office. And those with a driver's license or other state ID may register to vote online at sos.state.nm.us. You must be 18 years old at the time of the next election. Voting is a responsibility of citizenship. This message brought to you by KRWG.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Thursday,
where news matters.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. To raise awareness, the Aggie Health and Wellness Center was offering free breast exams earlier today.
Students also had a chance to learn more about breast cancer, signs of early detection, and a chance to win pink prizes. More than 98% of women survive with early detection. 25% of women with breast cancer are younger than 50. Myth: only women get breast cancer. Fact: so can men.
Today, Louis Caceres separates fact from fiction in a myth-busting health minute.
Breast cancer is the most common cancer in American women and the second leading cause of cancer deaths in women, according to the American Cancer Society. But there are a lot of myths out there about the disease. So we spoke to breast surgeon Dr. Preeti Subadar from Emory's Winship Cancer Institute to clear up some of those myths.
Just because you don't have a family history of breast cancer, that doesn't mean that you can't develop breast cancer.
That goes for men as well.
About 2,000 men with breast cancer will be diagnosed in the United States this year.
As far as a possible relationship between breast cancer, antiperspirants, and deodorants.
Antiperspirants, deodorants are not linked with causing breast cancer.
So what about caffeine?
Caffeine has not been shown to increase your risk of breast cancer.
Neither does wearing an underwire bra. One of Dr. Subadar's patients has some advice for women.
Most definitely do, monthly checks and then do yearly mammograms.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Louis Caceres.
The day after Hurricane Michael slammed into the Florida Panhandle, residents and officials are getting a look at the aftermath and hoping for the best in the areas that took the worst.
And Michael isn't done yet. The storm is on its way towards the Carolinas. Jan Pomerys is in Panama City, Florida, with the latest.
Panama City's catastrophic damage. Someone told me, quote, Mexico Beach is gone.
Over Mexico Beach, Florida, a look at what Hurricane Michael's 155-mile-per-hour winds left behind.
Let's just hope in Mexico Beach that people evacuated, because if they stayed right there and got the full brunt of the storm straight from the Gulf, without a barrier island, at least breaking it a little bit, there's going to be some significant loss.
Hundreds of thousands of customers in Florida, Alabama, and Georgia are without power, making communication with those who decided to ride out the storm nearly impossible. FEMA Administrator Brock Long said safety and rescues are today's priorities.
Making sure that we are helping people who may be trapped and pushing through and doing damage assessments to make sure that we fully understand where we need to coordinate our response efforts.
The severe damage not limited to the Florida coastline. In Albany, Georgia, about 100 miles inland, the mayor urged residents to stay at home.
I saw trees that had fallen on houses, trees that had fallen on cars just on my way here. And if that is all over the city, then we are going to have some issues. And it's going to take us a few days, to get it together.
And Michael is not done yet. moving through the Carolinas today, bringing tropical storm force winds and heavy rain to the areas that took the brunt of Florence just weeks ago. In Panama City, Florida, I'm Jan Pomerantz.
And I heard that New Mexico might actually be seeing some rains this weekend too.
It looks like we are starting to get a little bit more rain than we did last week, I think.
Yeah, and Andreas is next with our weather.gov national forecast.
And most definitely, we will be seeing those rains, but my prayers go out to the folks out here in the southwest region dealing with those horrible storms. On our next map, we're going to detail that rain that we're going to see here in the southwest. We have the remnants of Tropical Storm Sergio moving its way through the Sonoran Desert, and it should be reaching us that moisture, the bulk of the moisture, at least by tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Accumulations could go anywhere from an inch to an inch and a half in the Boot Hill region of New Mexico, as well as an inch here in Las Cruces and a half an inch to an inch in El Paso. Our next map is going to show basically a good big picture of that moisture and how this low storm system or this tropical storm system is going to push its way all the way up into the middle of the country. We do have this jet stream here that's going to eventually get behind us, and that's going to give us another cold front that we're going to see a 20-degree drop. I'll explain all of that after the break.
Morning Edition, weekdays from 5 to 9 on 90.7 FM and streaming live on KRWG.org.
Next time on A Chef's Life.
What's your broccoli dish?
I buy broccoli every single time I go to the grocery store.
Thank you.
So today is pub day for my book, and then our tour will begin. My launch dinner is at Bon Appetit magazine.
Vivian Howard.
Saturday morning at 10:30 on KRWG-Public Media.
I'm Rick Steves. Join me in Germany as we explore Frankfurt and Nuremberg. In Frankfurt, a city of contrasts, we see today's Germany, a vibrant mix of new and old. Then, in Nuremberg, we marvel at remnants of Germany's First Reich and learn of Hitler and the Third Reich with the architecture of a megalomaniac. Finally, we go underground for a peek at history seldom seen.
Saturday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-Public Media.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to News 22. We're going to take a look at our current temperatures across the state of New Mexico. 50s in the northern portions of the state, as well as 64 in Socorro, 58 in Ruidoso, 63 in Roswell, 72 in Deming, and 74 here. And for tomorrow, our expected highs not going very far from where we are at currently right now. 60s, mid-60s in northern New Mexico, 71 in Clovis, 76 in Roswell being our hot spot, 68 in Las Cruces, and 68 in Deming as well. For tonight, we do have that chance of moisture tonight. 10% chance in Alamogordo with a low 54 as we really kick up our rain chances tomorrow. 30% chance for truth or consequences. And for Alamogordo, we're going to see, or Silver City, I should say, 48 degrees for tonight. They have a 30% chance of rain and a 70% chance of rain for tomorrow with a high of 63 degrees. And here in the city of the Crosses, our rain chances begin starting around midnight with a low of 55. And for tomorrow, we do have that 70% chance of rain as well. We'll see, I'll explain when our temperatures will drop in our 5-day forecast coming up.
A 15-year-old boy is dead after a strange series of events in Dallas.
Kelly Garcia Moreno has today's Southwest Minute.
Police say the boy hit his mom with a baseball bat before taking a car and driving away. He passed through several towns until he ran over spike strips. The car went out of control and hit a truck carrying porta potties. The boy was killed. No one else was hurt. A deportation-themed board game is causing anger in Oceanside, California. Students at Cesar Chavez Middle School created the game for an assignment last month. Some parents and activists are demanding cultural sensitivity training, public forums, a committee on ethnic studies, and a Know Your Rights forum. The Catholic Diocese of Dallas is tackling the child abuse issue. Priests and parishioners are told to pray the rosary before Mass all this month for the abused victims. Anyone suffering from abuse should contact the authorities. I'm Kelly Garcia Moreno with today's Southwest Minute.
So hopefully this weekend the Aggies are going to take home another win.
I think the Aggies are starting to make a comeback, maybe, possibly.
Let's hope so. And Michaela Romero is going to tell us next with sports.
Thanks, Shelby and Steph. Coming up in sports, a big matchup this weekend between two of the best high school teams in Las Cruces is not going to disappoint. You can toss that remote because News 22 Sports is next.
Next time on Two for the Road, we kick off an epic adventure in the place where adventure lives, Costa Rica.
Don't lose me, don't lose me.
We'll explore the craziness that is its capital city.
We're headed to the market if I don't get ran over.
We'll soar above the jungle next to a volcano. Oh my God. And come face to face with one of the craziest things we've ever done.
I'm freaking out.
Saturday at 7:30 p.m. on KRWG-Public Media.
The workers were literally like slaves.
On the next Latino Americans.
They're treated like animals, and we're going to change it.
Caesar never got past the 8th grade, and yet he was brilliant.
From the farms to the schools.
We're trying to make schools better, trying to make the country better.
The movement's momentum creates mayhem.
People being clubbed because they wanted an education.
On the next Latino Americans.
Sunday at 5 p.m. on KRWG-Public Media.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. I'm Michaela Romero, and let's talk sports. The NMSU football team is hoping for their third win of the season this weekend. They're looking to continue their winning streak that began with their first win against the UTEP Miners with a score of 27-20. The Aggies kept things going at the homecoming game against the Liberty Flames, beating them by a score of 49-41. The Aggies will be heading to Louisiana this weekend to take on the Ragin' Cajuns. The Cajuns won their last game against Texas State 42-27. The Cajuns' overall record is 2-3, while the Aggies' overall record is 2-4. The game will start at 3 p.m., and for those of you that can't make it, you can listen and stay updated on the Aggie Sports Network or keep up with the NMSU football social media sites on Twitter and Instagram. The women's volleyball team is putting in hard work, and it's showing. So far, the women's volleyball team has an overall record of 14-5. The women took a victory over the Chicago State Cougars last weekend with a sweep. They plan on continuing the winning streak this weekend against UT Rio Grande Valley, who have an overall record of 10-9. The women will face off at 6 p.m. in Edinburgh, Texas. The women's soccer team is preparing for a pair of home games this weekend against Seattle U and Chicago State. Coach Rob Bartz and the team take on Seattle U on Friday at 4 p.m. at the NM State Soccer Complex, and again Sunday at 3. The Aggies have been struggling so far this season. They are determined to get their second win of the season with 3 more games until the WAC quarterfinals. And the NMSU athletes of the week this week are Juliana Solanoa and Josh Adkins. Juliana is a sophomore of the women's volleyball team, and she plays middle blocker. She's been at the top of the Western Athletic Conference leaderboard this season. She also set a career best with 9 blocks to pair with her 10 kills against Kansas City. Josh Adkins is a redshirt freshman and is the Aggie quarterback. He got his second win last weekend, defeating Liberty in the homecoming game. Adkins threw 4 touchdowns. And it's almost the weekend, so it's time for Friday Night Lights. 2 Las Cruces teams will be facing each other. The Sentinel Hawks will be battling the Mayfield Trojans Friday night at the Field of Dreams. The Hawks are undefeated this season at 7-0, and the Trojans are 4-2. The Oneonta Knights will take on Carlsbad on Saturday at 1 p.m. at the Field of Dreams. The Knights hope to snap their 7-game losing streak, and the Las Cruces Bulldogs have a bye week. And that's all for your sports tonight. Join us for more sports action next week. Still ahead on News 22, Andres will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, find out which artist gave a shout out to an El Paso favorite son. More on that when News 22 continues.
Next time on A Chef's Life.
What's your broccoli dish?
I buy broccoli every single time I go to the grocery store.
Thank you.
So today is pub day for my book, and then our tour will begin. My launch dinner is at Bon Appetit magazine.
Vivian Howard.
Saturday morning at 10:30 on KRWG-Public Media.
Left that wisdom to that home.
Coming up on Austin City Limits.
If they knew what you was thinking, they'd run you out of Lincoln. But just blame it on that old crazy bone. Here comes that crazy bone.
Saturday at 9 p.m. on KRWG-Public Media.
Let's take a look at our top stories. I spoke to former senior advisor to President Obama, Valerie Jarrett, about the reasons sexual assault reports are rising. A New Mexico casino will soon be starting their first legal sports book. It will operate Monday through Friday, noon to 8 p.m., and weekends 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Voting numbers are rising as more citizens in the Doña Ana County are engaging in the upcoming elections.
El Paso singer Khalid was nominated for 4 awards during the American Music Awards, including New Artist of 2018, Soul and R&B Song for Young, Dumb and Broke, Soul and R&B Album for American Teen, and he won Favorite Soul R&B Male Artist of 2018. During his speech, he thanked his mom, his fans, and gave a shout out to Beto O'Rourke.
Before I go, shout out to the 915, shout out to El Paso, Texas, shout out Beto. I love you guys. Peace. Thank you.
It's pretty awesome that we have so many kind of like local celebrities.
I know, I love Khalid. Let's talk weather. We do have 2 lows coming in. The first one coming in starting tonight, which is going to bring us our rain chances as well as windy conditions for your Saturday. Our second one is going to be that real big punch where we're going to see those drop in temperatures with the 50s Monday and Tuesday.
And don't forget, you can catch all of today's aired stories and past newscasts on our YouTube page at youtube.com/KRWG News 22.
And that's all for News 22 Tuesday. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight.
Tune in next week for more news from across the Southwest. I'm Shelby Kapp.
I'm Stephanie Mendez.
I'm Andres Valle. Have a good night.
Good night.
This news brief in Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Buenas tardes, les acompaña Diana Castillo en este breve informativo de Noticias 22. Ha surgido una nueva actualización sobre el tiroteo que ocurrió el 27 de septiembre cerca de la escuela secundaria de Las Cruces. Policía dice que el sujeto Juan Ángel Pinedo no obedeció órdenes y se lanzó hacia la pistola de los oficiales. Los 4 oficiales descargaron sus armas pegándole a Pinedo una vez. Pinedo fue declarado muerto en la escena. Pinedo, de 32 años, tenía una orden de arresto por el tiroteo que ocurrió 6 días antes. Los 4 oficiales fueron puestos en licencia administrativa. En otras noticias, la policía de Deming continúa investigando un robo que terminó fatal. El incidente ocurrió en la tarde de octubre 6. Eduardo Pena, de 27 años, y otros sujetos se metieron a un hogar en la calle Diamond Street. Según reportes, los sujetos atentaron robar a los ocupantes a punta de pistola. Durante el altercado, Pena fue disparado por uno de los ocupantes del hogar. Murió de sus heridas poco después. Otra sospechosa que estaba con Pena también fue disparada y continúa en condición crítica. En este momento no se han presentado cargos. Gracias por su sintonía. Para Noticias 22, Diana Castillo.